WATD presents John Paul, the Car Doctor. All things automotive. Have questions? Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's John Paul, the Car Doctor.
And good Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. Apparently, Jesse had 2 weeks off, and he needs to be retrained.
Yeah, I need to do another 21 years straight to get back on the ball.
I know. But that's okay. That's live radio. That's what happens. It's all good. It's all the way it's supposed to work. It's not often we get a CEO or founder of a car company on the radio with us. We kind of have. We've had Mark Smith from Smythe Automotive. He's the one who sells the kits to turn cars into utes. We've had his brother Dave Smith on, who him and Mark co-founded Factory 5. The originally made Cobra kits, and then you could call them vehicle manufacturers. We've had the president of Jeep on here before. But with us on the phone is Mark Dweck. He is founder and CEO of the IONIQ automotive company, IONIQ Motors. Mark, good morning and welcome to the Car Doctor program.
Thanks for having me, John.
Absolutely. Well, it's not often that people get to start their own car company. And you did just that, right?
Yes, about five or 6 years ago, I was made aware of a category of vehicles, and I decided that the category was not mature, and it bothered me because I'm a car guy. I've been a car guy since I was a kid.
And this category of cars is called low-speed electric vehicles or neighborhood electric vehicles, and I have seen some from GEM. Ford had one for a while. I think Chrysler may have had one, although it might have been a GEM at the time. And they were basically glorified golf carts that, with some work, managed to get on the road, so they had wipers and lights. Your IONIQ car is completely different. Your IONIQ car is a car.
It's basically, well, actually, our slogan is it's not a car, it's a IONIQ. It's a IONIQ. It's really a car, but it's a micro car. It's small. It's a low-speed neighborhood electric vehicle. So, but it has all kinds of great stuff in it. It's put together like a regular car. It's robotically welded, painted, assembled in a very high-tech way. Most of the golf cart-based things that you're referring to basically start as a golf cart, and a lot of the stuff is tacked on. They may have tacked on doors, tacked on air conditioning, but in the end, it's not designed from start to finish like a car is. And so really, we have a small electric vehicle. It's a neighborhood electric vehicle, a low-speed vehicle, but it's definitely put together like a real car, and you would expect quality, and the quality that we have is like that of a real car.
Well, first off, the most striking thing about it actually has doors. Unlike a lot of the neighborhood electric vehicles, like you said, are sort of golf carts. This one has doors, and it has real wipers, and it has lights and a horn and a key fob that locks the doors, and it has power windows, and it has a key fob that you hold the unlock button down, and the windows roll down like a BMW or a Mercedes.
Yeah, well, like I say, I'm a car guy. And to me, unless we had a real car quality product, I wasn't going to run it. And truthfully, 5 years ago, we brought in 4 models with very small quantities. I hit the brakes real fast on the vehicles because they weren't as properly thought out and engineered. So it was back to the drawing board. And 4 years later, what we have is a really highly finished vehicle that has intermittent wipers and child-proof door locks. It has three-point harnesses, inertia wheel harnesses. It's got a double braking system. If one brake system fails, there's a backup system, just like a car: power steering, power brakes, etc.
And one of the things that is, I think, sort of. I mean, it isn't like you built this car from scratch. You started with an electric car company in China, but you had to do a fair amount of work and engineering to get it to pass all of the low-speed electric vehicle NHTSA DOT stuff, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I've been an importer literally for 50 years, selling to Fortune 50 companies. And the only way you can sell to a Fortune 50 company is to have real control of the manufacturing process. So often we would supply molds and raw materials, etc. So in this case, I'm very well versed in the DOT requirements. So, for instance, you need a DOT windshield. Well, I don't trust a windshield that's stamped with DOT information. So we got samples of windshields. We sent them to a third-party inspection company an engineering inspection company that evaluated the windshields. And this inspection company works for Tesla, General Motors, Ford, Toyota, etc. So I supplied many components that our company purchased and supplied to the factory, because trusting Asia to do the right thing is one thing, but providing proper DOT components is what I did.
And you have, like you said, you've been working in the field of importing things for years, and you've worked with McDonald's, right?
We worked with McDonald's. We worked with Fortune 50 companies. You name a Fortune 50 company that gave away tens of millions of giveaway items, we supplied it. But the problem was I went to Asia literally 140 times doing it. So I got burned out, but I wound it down because I just couldn't do it anymore. Just too much running back and forth, because I'm an old-fashioned guy. I'm hands-on. I make sure everything is correct. And I'm like a mother hen. I lay the egg and then I sit on it and make sure it's all good.
Oh, there you go. Well, I was just looking at some of the specifications for this car. Besides the fact that, unlike every low-speed electric vehicle that I've seen, I was out for a walk yesterday and two different golf cart styles went by me. Neither of them had doors. Neither of them had, I would not think, had electric power steering. In both cases, they were gasoline vehicles. Yours is an electric vehicle, but it uses a lithium battery, right?
It's actually probably the safest lithium batteries out there. We have a lithium ferrous phosphate battery. Some people call it LifePro 4 or LFP. Yep. But what's interesting is, because I'm a stickler for quality, I want this business to grow. So what happens is the batteries that we use, the cells that go into the battery pack, are China Aviation Lithium Battery Company. These are the batteries that are in Airbus, Boeing, and also weaponry. If you're shooting a missile at someone, you don't want the battery to die. So I believe everything that we do needs to be quality.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a lithium battery, but it's a great lithium battery.
And it has air conditioning and heat. So on a warm, rainy day, you have the windows up so you're not getting wet, and you have the air conditioner on so you don't get all sticky.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not an air conditioner. It's a climate control system. Yep. So it's got air conditioning, heat, defogger. You can direct the airflow. It has recirculation. It's like a car. It's not a simple air conditioner. It's a little more sophisticated than that. The whole car is more sophisticated.
Yeah.
You mentioned that we basically work with a Chinese company. The Chinese company that we work with literally builds 2.5 million vehicles a year. They're the largest small vehicle manufacturer in the world, literally. And they're very vertical. All the parts I would say 95% of the parts that go into the vehicle are made for this vehicle. So it's not like they bought a part here and a part there and put it together. They even make their own motors. They make their own wire that goes in the motors. Even to the point where they weave their own interior fabric. So everything is made for the car. Quite sophisticated, really sophisticated.
And when it comes to charging an electric vehicle, and I happen to be driving an electric vehicle today that would charge up much better on 240 volts or 440 volts, but I'm charging it up on 110 volts, which has worked out okay. It's worked out fine. But your vehicle can charge up both on level 1 and level 2, right?
It's actually quite interesting. You can plug into a household 110 outlet. If you have a 220 household outlet that you might use for a dryer or something in your garage, you can charge on a 220 household. But we also just recently developed an adapter that allows it to charge on level 2, 150,000 chargers out there, public chargers. So it's a 3-way charging system, which is kind of unheard of in this category.
So typically on your car, it would charge up on sort of a regular outlet, which I would guess would be fine for most people, but you do have the option of doing it a little bit faster on the 240 volt, like you said, a electric dryer or electric stove style outlet or something like that. Does it use a normal electric vehicle charging port, or is it proprietary to the WINK?
Okay, the charging port is a special proprietary one in the car, and the charging wire, the vehicle has a built-in charger, but the charging wire is special for that port. But we also have an adapter that allows it to plug into a regular public charger anywhere. Okay. And what's the purpose? The purpose is a lot of people, especially in a low-speed vehicle, they don't have access to a garage. I mean, if you live in an apartment or a townhouse, we're not going to run. For instance, if you're on the 20th floor of a building, you're not running a 20-floor extension cord. So you just want a public charger. And that's the purpose of this adapter, which is very unique.
Yeah, so, it certainly sounds it. But for instance, I live in a small house and I have a little driveway, and there's a 120 volt outlet by the corner of my house that I plug stuff into periodically. I could just pull this up, plug it in, and charge it up. And how long does it take to fully charge? Say I brought it down to 20 or 30% charge. How long would it take to fully charge it back up?
I would say the way to think about it is, first of all, we have an 85-mile range, which is unheard of in low-speed vehicles. Yep. And so it's 85 miles running the air conditioning or the heat. That's pretty amazing. But I would say from 30% to 80%, which will give you 60, 70 miles of range, it would take 4 hours. Okay. On a 220 would be less, and a public charger would be even less, maybe an hour and a half. Yeah.
So it charges up faster than the electric bicycle I have.
I don't know about electric bicycles, but when you mention electric bicycles, it's kind of interesting to me, because I see people taking their kid to school on the back of an electric bicycle. What happens in the rain? What happens in the cold? What happens in the snow? The better question is, what happens if you're in a collision with your kid on the back of an electric bicycle? That's scary to me. Yeah. But interestingly...
go ahead. I'm sorry.
We have the only vehicle in this category that's fully equipped. It has 30 items that you would never expect that are above the Department of Transportation requirements. But it's also street legal. You can get a license and real insurance in 49 states. New York is excluded. New York has their own set of crazy rules, in my opinion.
Well, New York is the only rule. The very few things I know about New York, but New York is or at least New York City is the only city that the standard blue and white handicap placard doesn't apply. New York City has their own. So
that's interesting.
It is New York City, in New York in general, and New York City has its own, but it is street legal in 49 states. So I live in Massachusetts, so I could go and buy one of these, and I could register it and drive it like a regular car. And honestly, most days, probably 3 days out of the week, my car doesn't go anywhere, and the other few days out of the week, especially where I live right now, I probably don't go more than 10 or 12 miles in a day, and most of the roads are under. There's only one road near me that's above 35 miles an hour, but most of the roads are 35. In fact, the town I live in, unless it's otherwise posted, all the speed limits are 25 miles an hour. Now, the low-speed electric vehicles are designed for roads at under 35 miles an hour, right?
It's correct. Actually, the top speed is 25, to be quite open about it. And you're allowed to drive it on a road that's 35.
Right.
And interestingly, I believe the rules were put together because the government believes that all these low-speed vehicles are golf carts, and golf carts aren't as safe in many ways. 80% of the injuries and deaths attributable to golf carts is people falling out of a golf cart. We have a fully enclosed vehicle. Mm-hmm. It's an all-steel body, unibody construction. You know, the chances of getting hurt is much less than in a golf cart. You know, you're exposed in a golf cart.
And the one thing I will say, and I can't say I've disassembled a lot of golf carts, but this car has actual real suspension, like McPherson strut-style suspension and trailing arms that hold the rear suspension and coil-over springs, where most golf carts don't have anything near that.
Yeah, well, they're kind of crude. Golf carts are kind of crude. The suspension, you're right, it has McPherson struts in the front, independent suspension in the front, with rack and pinion power steering. And the power steering is what I would call real power steering. It's very, very low effort, very comfortable to use. And it rides like a car. And what's really interesting to me, I don't want to brag, I drive a Mercedes every day. And actually, I'm in New York City. I have a special license plate. I drive a Wink more than I drive my Mercedes, truthfully. So, but what's interesting is the vehicle is tight like a drum because it's robotically put together. Right. So the tolerances on the doors and the roof, it rivals high-end car manufacturing, the way the doors close and how solid the vehicle is. It doesn't rattle. It doesn't shake. It's really pretty impressive that way.
Well, before we talk price, I just Googled for fun, low-speed electric vehicle for sale new, excludes freight, setup, and tax. And for a lithium-ion, what is this, club car, it is $16,699, but that excludes freight, setup, and tax. If I wanted to go buy a Wink electric vehicle and I live in Massachusetts, how would I do that and how much would it cost?
Okay, first of all, you can do it online, but you still want to know what the product is. So there's a process. The process that we offer, which is unheard of in the industry, is you can actually make an appointment, and we have professional presenters who will do a FaceTime or video chat with the consumer, and you can ask 100 questions, and the presenter will show you the vehicle point by point by point and describe the vehicle and show you the vehicle as you want to see it. So you can get a good feel for the product online if you don't have the ability to see it in person.
It's interesting. So, Cadillac did that a few years ago. I think probably in the height of COVID, they actually had these Cadillac virtual lounges where if you were interested in buying a car, you'd go click on the site and you'd get a person and you say, I'm interested in buying a Cadillac CTS something, and they would present the car to you that way, and then they'd arrange for delivery, however they arrange for delivery. So once I've decided that a Wink is the vehicle I want to buy because it has everything you mentioned, and the vehicle, and not to take any shots at Club Car, but all the things that they don't have, which is climate control doors and so forth.
I could make a comparison there. They don't have 3-speed intermittent wipers. They have wipers. They don't have 3-point inertia wheel seatbelts. They have lap belts typically. I think you could buy 3-point belts.
Yeah,
but they're not
they only have 3-point belts in the front, it looks like.
okay. They don't have buzzers that tell you that the brake is on or that the brake problem, that the door is open, that the seatbelt. It's not integrated.
Yep.
It doesn't have remote control locks because there really aren't locks on the product.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go on and on.
Yep. No.
But,
okay. Well,
let's
their I guess XR, which I don't know what that means, probably extra range or something, is almost $17,000 plus freight setup and tax.
Okay, so when you add the doors, that could be $4,000. When you add a good battery, it's another $4,000. When you start adding all the stuff, so to say, you're up to $30,000, and you're still taking a golf cart and trying to turn it into something that it's not. So this is really put together like a car. It's a car. It's a small electric.
Well, how much is yours?
$17,995, including delivery to your doorstep. So the way we process an order is you place a $250 deposit, and we contact you for the balance payment and for the delivery questions, and we arrange to have it shipped to your doorstep. All ready to go. There's really no real option.
And then I get a sort of certificate of origin sort of thing and title, and I take that. We overnight the title. You can take the title of DMV. Where DOT recognized, the DMV will run it through the computer systems, the federal and the local computer systems, and it's all good. We've had vehicles in many states with no issues whatsoever. Well, that's a good point. How many vehicles have you sold? Which is a question I asked Tesla one time, and they would never tell me.
It's kind of confidential. Right now, I would say we just really started. I met you about 10 days ago.
Can we say quite a few?
I would say scores.
Scores, okay. And of the scores of vehicles you sold, what's the overall response from your customers? What do they think?
They're referring their next door neighbor. They're referring their relatives. They love the product because they're typically used to driving around. Listen, there's a lot of these in the southern part of the U.S. where it's hot as hell.
Yep.
So they're used to roasting in a golf cart, and so now they have air conditioning, really good air conditioning, and it's a really enclosed vehicle. I have someone who's commuting with his kid on the back of an e-bike to school. He's ecstatic because he has his child in the back of a wink and a child-proof door lock. I would say the reception is fabulous. And I would also say that we will get a lot of referrals from current owners. So it's kind of like Volkswagen. Yeah. When Volkswagen first brought in the Beetle in the country, I think they brought in like 5 or 10 of them. So
right. And the dealers were the guy at the gas station that said, "Yeah, I'll take it on." It was and the same thing with Toyota and Subaru for that matter. It was they weren't dealership style people. And are you trying to expand your network to include whether it's e-bike dealers, golf cart dealers, stuff like that, or are you going to stay with your model that you're using now?
No, we're trying to expand with. Actually, they're not dealers; they're display delivery and service centers. Okay. So a display delivery and service center, we basically follow the Tesla model, but it's a little bit hybrided because they're independent shops. The first parameter isn't: are you a car dealer? Are you a e-bike dealer? Are you a power sports dealer? Are you a golf cart dealer? The first parameter is: how is your consumer rating? Do people love you or not love you? If they don't love you, and you want to commit to buying 1 million of my vehicles, I won't work with you, because to me we need to convey honesty and integrity. That's the first requirement for us to take someone on. It's not a matter of selling vehicles; it's a matter of selling vehicles happily to consumers.
Yeah. And what's the warranty on a Wink?
Okay, so the warranty is 2 years bumper to bumper, and the battery is 6 years.
Okay.
and we believe the battery will last 15 years because it's a China aerospace battery.
Yeah.
We have a very unique service situation, which I don't believe anyone has ever done, and we have good experience with it. We've been in business literally since 2021, and this is our 5th model, and the 4 prior models were okay, but not what I was dreaming about. But what we did was, if a consumer had an issue, we would ask them, "Who's your favorite local mechanic?" They would say, "Okay, Joe on the corner." Okay, we would check Joe out, sometimes on a AAA site to see what their rating was. And if Joe was an upstanding guy, we would work with him. 95% of the time, the person's favorite mechanic was someone good. So we would say, "Okay, take it to Joe." And 9 times out of 10, it was something simple to fix, like a window switch. We would overnight the switch. If the mechanic couldn't figure out how to fix the vehicle, we have a master mechanic who will FaceTime the local mechanic and show him point by point by point how to fix the vehicle. We had one vehicle where someone had cut the wiring harness, and our master mechanic spent hours going wire by wire with the local mechanic to fix the wiring, and it was very successful. So our motto is to really take care of the customer. How do you want to be treated is how we want to treat people. How I want to be treated.
That makes sense. Makes sense. So if you sold one of these cars here, and my favorite shop was right up the street, and he's like, "I don't really work on electric cars," and I'm like, "Well, we have this guy. He'll call you and tell you things, and like you said, if it's a minor repair, anybody can fix a minor repair." So that's great. So if people want more information, it's winkmotors.com, right?
Right. And, we ask for a small deposit, then we walk them through the purchase process. And we have, I would say we have fabulous customer service because we really care about the consumer.
And if people actually want to talk to you, if they're like, I want to talk to the guy who started this company, will you talk to him?
Absolutely, positively. Again, I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. So yes, okay. you want to talk to the guy who started the company. Who by the way, I actually work part time. That's 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, you're half day. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
When I was younger, I worked full time, but now I'm a little older. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds like an interesting product. I mean, and I think you're right. If you lived in the city, first off, parking is very easy because it's a small or if you lived in a 55-plus gated style community like you see in Florida or Arizona or around where I am right now, which is kind of a touristy area that people are just looking to go to the beach and the supermarket and maybe stop at the bank once in a while and things like that. They're not going any long distances. Like you pointed out, it's a vehicle you can drive in the rain, you can drive it in the snow, you can use it year round. It has heat and air conditioning. So it sounds like it's an answer for a lot of people that maybe said, I don't know that I have a use. The average new car today is a little bit over $52,000. The average used car is in the mid-20s. So somebody who wants something simple and small, and I didn't get to drive it much. I only drove it around the parking lot in Middleborough, but it was pretty fun to drive.
Thank you. But I just want to add a couple of things.
Okay.
What's really interesting, you can get really good liability insurance for less than $200 or $300 a year for major carriers. Mm-hmm. That tells you about the safety profile of the vehicle. If you have a real car, so to say, you're probably spending 8 to 10 times that just for liability. Mm-hmm. So you're saving a fortune on insurance. You're saving a fortune on I want to say electricity. What happens is if you're driving 500 miles a month in a regular vehicle, you're probably spending $150 a month in gasoline. Over here, you'd be spending $30 a month in electricity, which is another very big savings. You're saving almost $1,800 a year in fuel.
Yeah.
So between the two, it's very, very economical.
Yep.
You know?
No, it absolutely makes sense. Mark, it's been a pleasure talking with you. If people, again, want to check it out, it's WINK, WINKmotors.com. I want to thank you for joining us on the Car Doctor radio program.
Thanks so much, John.
All right, take care. Yep, bye-bye.
Take care.
That was Mark Dweck. He is founder and CEO of the WINK Motor Company, winkmotors.com. Check it out. It's a fascinating little car. Why don't we take a break, pay some bills? My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. You're listening on 95.9 WATD. If you would like to join us, our phone number is 781-837-4900. When we come back, we're going to talk electric cars about it's a van, it's an SUV. Well, it's the IONIQ 9. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at AAA.com/join. That's AAA.com/join.
The greatest shopping event of the summer is here. Macy's Black Friday and July sale is back, where you'll find 40 to 60% savings on all the hottest summer fashion and more. Don't wait. Get first dibs on everything you love about Black Friday shopping, from unbeatable sales across the store to curated styles for the season at lower than low prices. Head to Macy's now for a fun-filled holiday shopping adventure smack dab in the middle of summer. It's the can't-miss sale of the month, Black Friday and July at Macy's. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
The Sherwin-Williams Summer Sale is here. Get 30% off select paints and stains or 35% off our newest product, Emerald Symmetry, July 17th through the 27th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Plan a getaway and enjoy a long weekend exploring Plymouth. Go outside and whale watch, hike, walk along the ocean, and dine outdoors. At night, enjoy live music, theater, art shows, and ice cream under the stars. Begin your Friday night at the corner of Court and North from 4 to 6 and listen to live music at Sea Plymouth's Fridays on Shirley Square. Then head into a weekend of relaxed fun. Plan your Plymouth getaway on the Sea Plymouth app, brought to you by visitma.com.
Get ready for the South Shore's best dad and daughter duo in the building business. The Bethany Builders Podcast on WATD. Each week, the Bethany Builders crew, Chris Bethany, Steve Burton, Christian Fourier, and Sophia Bethany discuss ongoing building and remodeling projects, sports, fun, and more. Listen live or watch them on the Bethany Builders YouTube or Facebook page. The Bethany Builders Podcast is sponsored by Bethany Builders of Duxbury, Koopman Lumber, and Trex Decking.
The Bethany Builders Podcast, Sunday afternoons, 12:15 to 1 on 95.9 WATD.
Make an appointment Sunday morning at 11 for John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD. Now, back to the Car Doctor.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. My name's John Paul, the Car Doctor, here to help you with your car problems on this overcast Sunday where I am. But anyway, if you're looking for a 3-row SUV, or maybe minivan, it depends what you want to call this, but you're not interested in another gas-powered people mover, Hyundai has something that deserves at least a look, I think. It's called the Hyundai IONIQ 9, and there's a couple of IONIQs, but this is the IONIQ 9, and I wonder why they didn't call it like the IONIQ 7, because it seats 7, or 6, sometimes 7. Anyway. After spending some time and learning about it, I think Hyundai may have raised the bar on what especially families might look for a large electric vehicle. First thing you notice isn't the styling, although it has some very unique styling. It does stand out. It's pretty futuristic looking, but what's really impressive is the comfort inside the vehicle. I broke my own rule. I didn't try the third row seat. Usually I always try every seat in the vehicle. I didn't try the third row, but the front seats are very comfortable. The second row seats are really comfortable. Hyundai's really designed this, I think, for long distance travel. Like I said, the seats are supportive. They're roomy. They're wide. The third row certainly looks like there's enough leg room to stay comfortable back there. Usually in a 3-row SUV, the third row, unless it's a Suburban, the third row is really for kids or people you don't like. This one looks like there's plenty of room. Out on the highway, the IONIQ 9 delivers a very smooth ride. The suspension does a really good job of soaking up the broken pavement, expansion joints, rough roads. It's quiet, and I think it's quiet because there's no gas engine, so it's quiet. The low-speed noise that all hybrids make or electric vehicles make is louder than anything else in the vehicle. That's if you've ever heard a plug-in hybrid or an electric vehicle and it's going under, say, 12 miles an hour and it makes a noise, that's for vision impaired people and know there's a vehicle nearby. It's a requirement. Power is another surprise. Even though comfort seems to be a priority, it's an electric car. So you hit the accelerator, it's pretty fast. It's amazingly fast, actually. There's plenty of power on tap. There's no hesitation. It zips right along. One of the biggest questions, and it was a question I just asked Mark, what's the range on the IONIQ? Well, the range on this is over 350 miles, over 330 miles on our test car. That's what it said. But as I pointed out before, I charge using a regular 120 volt outlet. I have a charger. I didn't use the cable that came with this because honestly I didn't find it at first. In the back there was some adapters, and it uses the Tesla style North American charging standard, NACS is what it's referred to. So the narrower charger, I don't have that, but in the back was the adapters to use one of those. So if you were at a level 2 charger and you wanted to plug in, you could do it. It's easy. So but it had this adapter, so I used my Juice Plus adapter. And what's nice about mine is that when it plugs into a regular outlet, it knows it's a 15 amp outlet. It also knows it's a 20 amp outlet. So if you have one of those outlets with the little backwards E-shaped thing, looks different, because it's got a little line across one of the bars in the outlet. That's a 20 amp outlet. Most outlets should be 20 amp at these rate, but it gets a little bit more power out of the wall to charge the car a little bit quicker. But when I fully charged the car, it was showing a 360 mile range. That's even when I commuted back and forth to work, which was 100 miles a day. I mean, that was 3 days of driving without fully charging. That's pretty impressive. Now, I think most electric vehicles, you should charge them up every day. Especially if you're doing it my way, where you're doing it at 120 volts. So whenever I went to, I met a coworker for breakfast one day. So I drove there, came back, did a couple errands while I was out, came back, plugged it in, fully charged it back up. So I did that, I think went 50 or 60 miles one day, came back, plugged it in, charged it back up. It's very slow to charge on 120 volts, but if I'm only driving 40 or 50 miles a day, it's fully charged all the time, so it's ready to go. You can recharge according to Hyundai, you can recharge from 10 to 80% in about 25 minutes using a high-speed charger. The nearest high-speed charger to me is I have to go to Hyannis to the mall. No place I really want to go. So charging up this way is fine. But if you were planning a trip, if I was returning back to Florida and I had this car and I charged it up and, I got around 300 and 320 miles, and it was starting to be very low on electricity, I could pull into a high-speed charging place like a Tesla supercharger, which this is their style outlet, pay to use it, and in the time it would take to go, whatever, use the bathroom, get a cup of coffee, 20, 25 minutes, it would be back to somewhere around 300 miles. So then after the second stop, my wife would say, I've had enough driving. Let's go find a place to stay. Then you find a place to stay that has charging, which you're starting to see a lot more in hotels now. So it makes it a little bit easier. Is it versatile? Yeah, it's got plenty of room. You can fold the third row flat, and there's a ton of cargo area. Or, if you're doing home improvements, that kind of stuff. Fold the second row, and it becomes cavernous inside. Hyundai keeps calling it an SUV because I think minivan is kind of a name that nobody likes to use anymore. It reminds me more minivan than SUV, but that's just me. Maybe because it's all-wheel drive, you can call it an SUV. But there's also additional storage under the front hood, or as they like to call it, the frunk, which electric car owners like. There's a little bit of room up there, and that's actually where I found the charging cables. It was in the frunk. That wasn't the first place I looked. I just expected to see them in the back for whatever reason. So I used mine, and I was fine with that. Technology, large digital display. Controls are very intuitive. Shifter's weird. The start button is built into it's like a stalk off the steering wheel. You push the start button and you twist the stalk in one direction or the other, forward, reverse. It has paddle shifters, which is sort of weird, but it has adaptive cruise control and lane centering and all that kind of stuff. So is it autonomous-ish? Kind of. Is it perfect? It's a big vehicle. So parking, I found myself not having trouble parking it, but like I pull into a parking space and I wasn't quite in all the way kind of thing. So, took a little getting used to. And as public charging improves, I think, if you're traveling in rural areas, like where I am here on Cape Cod, there's a restaurant that just opened that I haven't been to that I noticed has a couple charging stations. The bank up the street now has a couple charging stations, but they're the lower speed level 2 ones. They still take a while to charge. Fully recharging this at level 2 is 4 hours. You would have to be having a big meal to do that. And then there's the price. This one had a sticker on it of $77,000. On the other hand, Hyundai's offering, I think, factory cash up to $10,000. So you can save a little bit of money there. And again, when the average price of a new car is $55,000, a lot of technology, a lot of comfort, a lot of luxury actually in this. Again, impressive, quiet ride. It drives nice. It doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel like a weird electric vehicle. It feels like any other vehicle. It feels somewhat modern. If you're looking for an electric vehicle that doesn't sacrifice comfort or practicality, maybe that, small electric vehicle didn't do it for you, whatever it was, whatever you're looking for, a Leaf or a Bolt or something. This one's pretty good. I think it's probably one of the most compelling choices out there, and it proves that electric vehicle doesn't have to give anything up. Does its job the way it should. A couple people have emailed me and said, by the way, did you ever buy a car? Yes, I did. I did buy a Hyundai Tucson. I think I mentioned it last week. Haven't really done much with it. I bought a set of mud flaps for it. I'm going to get a cargo mat for the back just to keep the back of it looking clean. It is the Hyundai Santa Fe Sport that I have, which was kind of considered a compact to mid-size, and this is considered a compact, is actually bigger than, it has more room. It has a little bit more cargo room, and it has what seems like way more rear seat leg room and it seems to look like it's going to do its job. Some things that I've noticed that are different about it. No top engine cover. I mentioned that, I think, before. I was a little surprised there wasn't one. Although it's something that when I leave a car for an extended period, I take it off anyway because that becomes a home for homeless critters. The oil filter Hyundai a few years ago, I think in 2022, did away with spin-on oil filters. They're all cartridge oil filters now, so going to require a new tool. And it uses a drain on the oil filter housing, which is a plastic drain plug, so you got to be pretty careful putting it back together. And then, of course, the housing itself is plastic, so very reminiscent of the Volkswagen we have. The radiator doesn't appear to have a visible radiator cap. So you kind of fill it. It has to have something, but you fill it through you top it off through the overflow. Just it looks a little different underneath. I think I want to talk to our friends over at the rust proofing company, the wax oil people, and I might want to get under there with some wax oil and apply some undercoating material to it. To get that taken care of. So few things coming up there. Why don't we take another break? If you would like to join us, I've talked for a lot now. If you'd like to join us and talk to us and me or whatever, talk to Jesse if you want. Ask him about his music school. You can give us a call at 781-837-4900. Want to take a quick break? We'll be right back. You're listening to Car Doctor, 95.9 WATD.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at AAA.com/join. That's AAA.com/join.
The Sherwin-Williams Summer Sale is here. Get 30% off select paints and stains or 35% off our newest product, Emerald Symmetry, July 17th through the 27th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play.
Who let the dogs out?
Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Won't you step into the light?
Hi, I'm Dan Chauvin. Step into the light and tune into Twilight Showcase Radio, hosted by Sandy Stride and Keith James on 95.9 WATD and 95.9WATD.com. Search for Twilight Showcase on Facebook and visit twilightshowcase.org.
Twilight Showcase, tonight from 8 to 10 on 95.9 WATD.
Hey there, folks. It's Quinn Kelly reminding you to tune in Sunday night at 5 for the South Shore's first voice in sports talk radio, The Sports Exchange. Unmatched coverage of local high school action as well as a relatable voice on all things Boston Pro Sports. We've got you covered live at 5 every Sunday night. Have a question for our host, missed last week's show, or just want to share a great sports story? You can find us on Twitter at SE on WATD. But remember, mark your calendar, folks, and we'll see you Sunday night at 5 for the Sports Exchange on 95.9 WATD.
Make an appointment Sunday morning at 11 for John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD. Now, back to the Car Doctor.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. This is an interesting and somewhat puzzling question, I guess, that someone emailed me this morning. They said, I have a 2023 Maverick Tremor. And he says it's well kept. It has a brand new battery, even though it's only 3 years old. Has not been starting. It has a feature that turns off the engine at lights, but apparently it won't restart without a jump, which is crazy, which is telling me there's some kind of poor connection. When it won't restart, you cannot get it into neutral, so you can't push it off the road. Why not? It's in neutral. It's in drive and it's not running. So I don't quite get that. They had to call for a tow, which they were charged $495 for, and they had to grease the tires to crank it up on the truck bed. They towed it to a shop. They didn't say to a dealer. They towed it to the shop, and they've tested everything. So far, it has started every time for them 30 times since Friday. We're at wit's end and thoroughly disgusted with Ford. Help. Oof. Well, if it's starting with a jump, that's telling me that there's something going on with that battery. Because what would a jump start do that a good battery wouldn't already do? So I would first be looking at battery connections, doing voltage drop tests, and things like that. Also, in this particular vehicle, the other thing that we see is some software updates that can cause something very similar. So check the software, do a bunch of voltage drops, look for connections that could be bad. Little pin connections can be a problem. Let's talk to Jim in Weymouth. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, John. I just had a question regarding the tire pressure monitoring service. We had our tires replaced by one of the warehouse clubs, and then subsequent to that, we had to have them replace a couple of the valve stems because the tires were, weeping slowly, whenever I checked them with the tire pressure gauge.
Yeah.
But now, most recently, we've noticed that the tire pressure monitoring, tire pressure is fine, but the monitoring, icon is coming on the TPMS.
Yeah. How old a car is it?
It's a 2019.
Okay. You're right on the cusp. You're right on the cusp of when they start to wear out. Most of these tire pressure monitor batteries only last 7 to 10 years. So you're kind of close to that. The other thing is, I'm surprised that, even if the tire pressure monitor, which on most cars, it's a metal style valve stem, you rebuild them. You take them apart. You put new rubber O-rings on the rim side, inside rim side, outside rim side, and replace the Schrader valve, and they're good to go. I'm surprised the wholesale club put new ones in. Now, they replace all 4 or just 2?
They replace just the valve stems.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not anything to do with
not the whole unit. So it was
right. Not the.
So it was like $30 a tire, not $100 a tire.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so they did try to rebuild it. Okay. Now, it could just be they're nearing the end of their life and they're just not transmitting the way they should anymore. And, again, that happens. Older cars, for some reason, they tended to last longer. Newer cars, they don't seem to last as long for whatever reason. And you may find that the only thing you're going to be able to do is, even though you spent money to try to rebuild them, is to put a new set of 4 in. And you should replace them in 4s because if one has gone bad for whatever reason, the rest are going to go bad too. So a good repair shop can look and see when that light is on. They can look and see if one or more of the transmitters, because they're basically little radio transmitters in the tires, they can look and see which one of them is not transmitting the signal back into the car. And they can let you know, the light is coming on because the right rear isn't transmitting the way it should. And it's annoying at this point. It's not dangerous. These systems were put in back in the Ford Explorer days when Explorers were blowing out tires because of low tire pressure, and and you could wait a while if you wanted to and check the tires like you're doing with the tire gauge and make sure they're fully inflated and ignore the light. But eventually you'll probably want to get it fixed, and when you do, replace all 4 of the tire pressure sensors. And you don't have to go with Subaru, but go with a good brand of sensor. You can buy a set of sensors at Amazon for like $20. You don't want to buy those. You want to buy from a company that makes tire products like Dill or somebody like that makes a good quality sensor. And usually a good tire store will be able to tell you, which ones are better than others.
Okay. And so, all right. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's
John,
okay. You sounded like you had another quick question.
Well, I was just going to ask you what I might be looking at for cost for a decent set of
about $60 to $70 per sensor is probably about right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right. Thank you, John.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Next week, we'll be talking to Matt Pitta, who we thought we were going to talk to earlier this month about the car show in Hyannis. Next week, we're going to talk about the Grand Prix that's going to be running on Cape Cod. Well, it's a little Grand Prix, but we'll talk Seaside Le Mans. We'll do that next week. Till next week, wear your seatbelt, drive safely, be good to your car. Talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.